Yes. Well, first of all, let me say good evening to everyone and thank you all so very much for joining us as we conduct business for the town of Fairmount Heights for the month of January. The date is January 28th, 2021. We appreciate everyone being here. I'm going to start off by offering a moment of silence for everything that has happened within our world, within our state, and within our town, because God has truly brought us to this point, and he must have done it for a purpose. So I want to say praise the Lord for that.
Amen.
Amen.
Yes. I'm going to open up the meeting. And I'm going to start off. Mrs. Tucker, would you please do our roll call?
Okay. Mayor Martin,
Present.
Councilmember Hargrove. Here. Councilmember Morgan. Here. Councilmember Waiters.
Present.
Councilmember Dotson.
Present.
Councilmember Akandu Walker.
Present.
And Councilmember Morris.
Okay.
Member Morris.
All right. Okay. He might join us. He might join us later.
I'm here. Present.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hello to everyone. Hello.
Oh,
All right, I'm going to move right down the agenda. We have the next item on our agenda is approval of minutes for December the 16th, the year 2020. It was a town meeting. And as most of you all remember, we had horrible things happening within our pandemic. It got into public works and it got into our own town government. So we are missing a certain amount of minutes because we had to make adjustments. So we only have December 16th, 2020. Is that correct, Mrs. Tucker?
Yes, that
Okay.
is correct.
So council members, has everyone had the opportunity to review your December 16th town meeting minutes for the year 2020?
No.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I need to hear from
Yes.
everyone so we'll know how to proceed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Councilwoman, yes.
Okay. So I think there should be enough of us who review the minutes to, going to get the motion out for those. Because I think Councilmember Wood Dotson, I think you were the only person that said you hadn't had the opportunity.
No, I just got a copy of it today.
Okay. All right. Well, at this time, I'm going to go on and accept a motion for approval of the minutes for our town meeting of December 16th in the year 2020.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from December 16th, 2020.
Okay, can I get a second on that?
Second.
Who did the second?
Councilwoman,
Okay. Thank you all very much.
Councilmember Akandu Walker.
yes.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. Are there any questions on the motion? If there are no questions, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Hargrove,
Yes.
Councilmember Morgan.
Yes.
Councilmember Waiters.
I would abstain. I had not had the opportunity. I was trying to unmute my mic to read them. I don't have the minutes before me.
Okay. Councilmember Dotson.
I abstain. I didn't have a chance to read as well.
And Councilmember Akandu Walker.
Yes.
And Councilmember Morris.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. The ayes have it.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
this is Councilmember Hargrove.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to amend the agenda to add the photos for the Women Council, All Women Council in 2018.
The 2018 photo,
Right.
okay, council member, that was something that we've already discussed in work session, so you just want to get it approved tonight?
Yes.
I'll put that down under new business.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, so the minutes, there are no abstentions. Everybody's, well, we have 2 people who abstained, but it's either the nays, there are no nays. All right, the minutes for December the 16th are approved. That's the year 2020. We're going to move on down to our police department report.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Councilmember Hargrove has asked that the agenda be amended.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I'll take a vote on that.
I'd like to also add to that, when we discuss that, the update for the pictures in the main meeting space for the missing mayors was mentioned as well.
Well, we haven't come to any conclusion on that.
We discussed it as well.
Yeah, but we didn't come to a conclusion on that. We did agree to do the 2018 photo session.
No, we
because
we agreed to discuss it, but I don't want to go there. I mentioned this in the work session, and I would like to have it the agenda amended to add it on because it was worked in discussed in the work session.
Okay, so you would like to add the pictures for missing mayors?
Consideration, yes. The question was, or has been, does the town pay for it? There is in all consideration pictures that are missing from the wall. And that's what I said in the work session.
And I think we have that recorded where you possibly said that, but the fact of the matter is we haven't worked out any solutions as to how we're going to get that one resolved. So in order to put that on this agenda, we still probably won't come to any kind of major conclusion because we haven't had the opportunity to iron it out yet. So unless you just want to put it in the record.
It was in the record during the work session, Madam Mayor. Please move forward. Please go ahead. I'll yield, but I'll bring it back.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm going to move on down. I want to go down to the police department report. Lieutenant Ivy, would you please give us a summary of your report?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. December 2020 report. Activities. The Fairmount
Where's
Heights
the
Police
app
Department.
store on here?
Excuse me.
Would you all mute yourself, please? When you're not speaking, please mute yourself.
The Fairmount Heights Police Department totaled 269 calls for service, with a difference of 280 calls for service for the month of November. A citizen armed robbery occurred with a delivery by an Amazon courier this holiday season. A suspect vehicle pulled up beside his delivery truck to distract his attention while delivering packages. When the victim approached the truck, the suspect brandished a handgun. Suspect number 2 exited the vehicle, walked into the truck and took packages and fled into DC. No injuries to the victim. Robbery CID unit was notified to keep investigation with holiday courier robberies in the county. Gunshots in the month of early December were heard, with shell casings recovered by the RID unit. There are continued incoming calls for service, which come directly into the police department by citizens. Calls for service also consist of information given to the mayor and council members, receiving their concerns from the community. This information is then forwarded to the police department. Continued code enforcement assistance as well, with severe street damage hold at Jost and J Street needing repair. Early morning snow in the month of December deployed police department to give notification for residents on snow emergency route streets to remove vehicles, making preparation for any plowing that would be needed. Updates. Reserve Officer Program moving forward with compliance of all requirements by the Maryland Police Training Commission. And I would like to take a moment and pause and give a special thank you to Mrs. Walker, Ms. Walker, and the mayor and the council moving forward with the reserve program, getting through a lot of detailed information and also the communication, but the process is moving. And I want to say thank you. The Fairmount Heights Police Department is now within the database of certified law enforcement agencies being in compliance with the Presidential Executive Order on Safe Policing for Safe Communities with the U.S. Department of Justice. The agency's use of force policies adhere to all applicable federal, state, and local laws and maintains use of force policies that prohibit the use of chokeholds, except in those situations where the use of deadly force is allowed. This will also position the agency for discretionary federal grants. Also, the Fairmount Heights Police Department and other agencies with the Maryland Police Training Commission Citizens Training, LEOBR, which means Law Enforcement Officers Bill of Rights statute, require that citizens be trained in two broad subject areas, LEOBR, and also matters relating to police procedures. The actual topic and content, manner of instruction, and length of training will be determined by each department conducting the training. The live scan electronic fingerprinting system will go through test cases, making sure it goes through the Maryland Network CJIS, which means a Criminal Justice Information System for compliance. Vaccination shots for officers in Prince George's County will probably be in late January and has been passed. They are not making it mandated for police officers. Location will probably be Sports and Learning Complex. During this time, they had been proceeding forward in reference to that. In reference to patrol, the Prince George's County Police Department continues to assist Fairmount Heights Police Department with local patrol. Holiday patrols will increase for safety and any criminal activity. With continued heightened awareness of COVID, all officers are to continue to use extreme caution and safety procedures when responding to calls for service. Communications will perform its best measures possible to inform officers of any information needed at the scene of any particular incident. That concludes my report, Mayor and Council. For December 2020. I can't, you need to unmute yourself.
Yes, we're going to move down to our code enforcement report. And at this time, I have a copy of it. And is there anyone else who would like to read Mr. Pinckney's report? Because I don't think he's on the line because he wasn't feeling well this evening. So if no one else has a copy of it, I can read it into the record. Okay, I'm going to start here. It says the monthly report for December the 16th through January the 12th, 2021. Summary. As you know, this has been a difficult time for the town, as well as Prince George's County, the state of Maryland, and our country. During this period, we have issued the following rental licenses. Kevin Downing, 5523 K Street, $100. Kevin Downing, 5609 Kolb Street, $100. During this period, we have received vacant building fees from the following. Service Link Incorporated, 839 Eastern Avenue, $200. During this period, we have issued building permits for the following. Vivint Solar, 5706 Kolb Street, $262. The Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission has submitted the following. Findings of fact, conclusion, and staff recommendation on historic area work permit application 2020-042, the Isaac Brown House, 715 59th Place. Procedural background. A stop work order was issued in May of 2020 for work that was conducted on the Isaac Brown House without approval from HAWP, the county or the town of Fairmount Heights. The HAWP application is scheduled to be heard by the Historic Preservation Commission at its public meeting on January 19, 2021. Findings. The Isaac Brown House, located at 715 59th Place, was identified within the inventory of historic resources. Number two, the subject property has been vacant and partially open to the elements for several years. Number three, the subject application poses a comprehensive rehabilitation of the house's exterior asphalt shingle roof, replacing existing wood siding with German wood siding and windows. The subject application also proposes the after-the-fact approval of the partially constructed rear addition. Conclusion. Number one, the scope of work and drawings provided by the applicant were insufficient to review the proposed work in detail. Number two, the addition was partially constructed without review and approval through the Historic Area Work Permit process. Number three, the deteriorated condition of the Isaac Brown House and minimal remaining historic fabric allows some flexibility in the rehabilitation of the structure while meeting the criteria of subtitle 21-111. Staff recommendations were, staff recommends that the Historic Preservation Commission approve in concept only HAWP 2020 within the following conditions. The applicant shall provide detailed specifications for proposed windows, front and rear doors, siding and trim, and roofing to staff for review and approval prior to removal of the existing windows and front door and prior to the installation of these building elements. In addition, the applicant shall submit a scale site plan of the property indication, the location, and dimensions of any existing and proposed construction. That concludes the report for the Code Enforcement Officer for the month. I'm going to continue on down to the Treasurer's report. Mrs. Walker, are you on?
Yes, I'm on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone.
Uh-huh.
So, good evening. I'm reporting through the end of December, and my report is the same as I gave at the work session. And so our total assets are $801,783, and that includes all of the funds available for in our checking account and our payroll account, which allow us to be able to operate the town. We are 50% into the year, and our income thus far is at 60%, and our expenses are only 42%. We do continue to have a few business owners who have not paid for their business license. Mayor Martin and I have talked about trying to have meetings with those individual, not trying to, we will meet with those individual business owners so that we can make sure they come into compliance within the next, we want them to be in compliance within the next 30 to 60 days and to figure out what's going on, why they are not adhering to the requirements to have their business license. We have, being at 50% of the year, we need to, in our next meeting, we will begin to look at our fiscal year 22 budget. That's something that's going to be definitely a little different this year because we have been impacted this fiscal year by COVID-19. In particular, some of the areas that we normally are able to have revenue, we have not been able to have revenue. For example, the building hall rentals, we obviously cannot use the building hall. And so as a mayor and council, we'll have to talk about what the impact of that will be for next fiscal year, as well as the fact that there are some things that you all had planned for this year, raising funds for the scholarship, raising funds for the youth council that we have not been able to do. So we'll have to look at those for next year. We do have one person who is renting the parking lot who has not paid their parking space fee. And so we will have to discuss in the meeting moving forward what to do to have that vehicle removed from the parking lot, and then also review the proposed changes to that agreement. I am extremely happy to share with the mayor and council that Fairmount Heights has received their full $93,000 award from CARES. We did submit for our reimbursement for the CARES funds that we were awarded, and we have received our full $93,000. So I would like to thank the mayor and council for everything that you did throughout this season to make sure that we were able to use the funds and that we had everything submitted on time and in order. And I'm not going to steal the thunder from Mrs. Councilmember Wood Dotson, because the census grant was her project, but just the small part that I will report, Ms. Spann did share with me that everything has been submitted, and the final payment, the last bit that we have not received, we are in place to receive that last bit of money, I guess within the next 30 days or some 30 to 60 days at $1,640. But again, that was Councilmember Wood Dotson and Ms. Spann's project, so I will not step on their toes for that. So that's the main updates that I had for this meeting, Mayor Martin, and thank you so much, Mayor and Council, for allowing me to share this evening.
Yes, thank you so much. I would like to just, please, you all, if you could just give Ms. Walker a large round of applause for jumping in there and making sure that this CARES funding was signed, sealed, and delivered to the town of Fairmount Heights, because there was so much work that went into it. We don't even realize, because when I even heard about the copies that had to be sent over, I was saying that is a massive effort, and it's been completed, approved, and everything is in alignment. So please give her a large round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
That was a tremendous job. Tremendous.
Thank you, Ms. Walker.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, appreciate that so much.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Already. Okay. Good night.
All right.
Have a
Good
wonderful
night.
meeting. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. We're going to continue on down to the town manager's report. Mr. Rumi, have you gotten back on the line yet, or? Mr. Rumi? All right. I will do Mr. Rumi's report because she left her report with me. She's in the middle of 2 meetings, and I think one started at like 7 o'clock and will run until 8:30. So I will do her report now. This is a summary of her report that she did at work session. And this is from Mrs. Darcy Rumi, the town manager. And it's a report for the period ending January the 10th, 2021. Under administration, she has a reminder notice about the request to renew the franchise agreement with Verizon. We know that's something that's going to be coming around the pike with us, and she wants to be able to keep up with that. Under economic and community development, she has the green team, and the green team did not meet during the month of December, but will resume monthly meetings on January 28th, 2021, which is the 4th Thursday of the month. We will continue our discussion on composting and available grants. Mr. John T. Deadweiler, a member of the Green Team representing the Prince George's County Community College, is asking that the town participate in the field portion of a demonstration project for candidates to demonstrate their ability through a series of physical tasks and analysis. The work will be performed from 8:30 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. All work will be free. For more information, please call Mr. Rumi at 301-925-8585 or contact her at townmanager@fairmountheightsmd.gov. The Anacostia Watershed Society continues to plant trees and shrubs at the ravine. The Historic Preservation Committee, the Prince George's County Historic Preservation Committee, notified the town that a Historic Area Work Permit, HAWP application, has been submitted for the Isaac Brown House, which is the historic site number 72-009-30 by its owner, Karen DiMatteo. A large rear addition had been partially constructed before stop work orders were issued by Mr. Pinckney, code enforcement, and by the Prince George's County Department of Inspections and Permits. The application was filed on July 2nd, 2020. The application was approved with the following conditions. The applicant shall provide detailed specification for the proposed windows, front and rear doors, siding, and trim and roof. The next bullet is meeting to discuss net zero housing. The Economic and Community Development Committee will hold meetings to discuss net zero housing project. Citizens and stakeholders' input is needed to discuss final design and parking. The meeting dates, meeting with HIP, Thursday, February 11th, 2021. The time is 7 o'clock until 9 o'clock p.m. The citizens and stakeholders meeting is scheduled for Thursday, February the 18th. The time is 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m. All meetings will be by way of Zoom. Zoom contact information and passwords will be posted on the website, placed on the front door of the town hall and on cable channel 11. Celebrating Black History Month, a virtual tour of the town of Fairmount Heights African American Heritage Historic Signage Trail, landmarks, destinations, and location will begin the first week of February. World War II Veterans Memorial Grant. Councilmember Hargrove will be presenting an update. The Department of Public Works. Councilmember Morgan and I are working with Public Works to target areas throughout the town where stormwater and groundwater runoff exists. This problem is resulting in ice on many of the streets and sidewalks. Through WSSC, I contacted Prime A&E engineering firm located in Baltimore, Maryland. Some of the worst areas are 62nd Avenue and 61st Avenue between Addison Road and Eastern Avenue at 57th Place and Cope Street. I am exploring the Department of the Environment at both federal and local levels and the Chesapeake Bay Trust for funding and other resources. The snowplow is mounted on the vehicle and salt is ordered to treat streets and sidewalks in advance of a snow or a hard freeze. This was submitted by Ms. Doris Sarumi, Town Manager. So that completes the reports that we have on hand for tonight. I'm going to proceed on down to new business. And under new business, our first item is the swearing in of our new clerk to the council, Mrs. Arlene Spann. Mrs. Spann, are you online?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Good evening to you.
Good evening. Let me do this. Let me take my background off. Sorry about that. That's what background was something else, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think that will work. All right, at this time, I would like to bring you on board to work as our clerk to the council. We've talked for so many times about you being available to take this position, and I want to say we're happy to have you. We know what a great asset you'll be to the town. And it's going to work very well as far as getting a lot of our issues ironed out. And I'm happy to have you here tonight. So at this time, I would like to swear you in. I want to give you the oath of office, and you can sign your paperwork one day next week.
Okay.
But I have it here in front of me. But at this time, would you raise your right hand and repeat after me?
Yes.
I state your name.
Arlene Spann.
Do swear or affirm.
Do swear or affirm.
That I will support the Constitution.
That I will support the Constitution.
Of the United States.
Of the United States.
And that I will be faithful.
And that I will be faithful.
And bear true allegiance.
And bear true allegiance.
To the state of Maryland.
To the state of Maryland.
And support the Constitution.
and support the Constitution
and laws thereof,
and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill
to the best of my skill
and judgment,
and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office
execute the office
of clerk to the council
of clerk to the council
for the town of Fairmount Heights,
for the town of Fairmount Heights,
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and the laws
and the laws
of this town
of this town
and state.
and state.
Congratulations to you, Mrs. Arlene Spann.
Thank
May
you.
God bless you. Would you all please give Ms. Spann a round of applause?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So happy to see you come on board.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate you.
All right.
All right. So we're going to continue on down the agenda. And our next item is resolution FHR 01/2021, which is a Women's History Month resolution. Mrs. Tucker, would you please read that into the record?
A resolution number FHR 01-2021. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. FHR 01-2021, introduced by Mayor Lily Thompson Martin, co-sponsor Councilmember Hargrove. Date of introduction, January 28th, 2021. The Town of Fairmount Heights resolution designating the month of March 2021 as Women's History Month and every year thereafter. Whereas women and young girls of all races, class, and ethnic backgrounds have made countless contributions, both written and unwritten, known and unknown, women and young girls are often in the background, leading the charge for change. Young girls like Ruby Nell Bridges Hall, born September 8, 1954, an American civil rights activist, was the first Black American child to desegregate the all-white Francis William France Elementary School in Louisiana during the New Orleans school desegregation crisis on November the 14th, 1960. And whereas 15-year-old Claudette Calvin, who in 1955 refused to give up her seat on the bus to a white passenger in Montgomery, Alabama, 9 months before Rosa Parks. Claudette said, "My head was too full of Black history. It felt like Sojourner Truth was on one side pushing me down, and Harriet Tubman was on the other side of me pushing me down. I couldn't get up." And whereas Black women like singer Mahalia Jackson, while on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial near Dr. King, reportedly kept saying, "Tell them about the dream, Martin." And while no one would know if he heard her, it could likely have been the inspiration he needed. Mahalia Jackson played a significant role in turning his dream into his speech, which is one of the most recognizable and meaningful speeches in history. And whereas women of every race, class, and ethnic background have played unique and cultural roles throughout history, courageously serving our country. And whereas many times are in the background, organizing and supporting, and at times in the forefront of major progressive social change movements. The Civil Rights Movement, Black Lives Matter movement, Me Too movement, and many others. And whereas just as in Black History Month, just as in Black History Month, women of all nationalities have played key roles in history, whether in the home, in the workforce, in the field, or behind the desk. Women have played numerous roles and continue to play crucial roles in every segment of our life in the unwritten pages of history. And whereas, despite these contributions, the role of women in history, especially the African American women, their contributions have been consistently overlooked and undervalued. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Historic Town of Fairmount Heights that March is designated as Women's History Month with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities to honor the contributions of women. This resolution shall be passed by the Mayor and Council of the Historic Town of Fairmount Heights on January 28, 2021 and successive years.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mrs. Tucker. At this time, I will accept the motion for approval of resolution FHR 01/2021. I will accept the motion. I will accept the motion from council members. I need the motion.
I make the Jackie, Councilmember Morgan, having problems unmuting. I'd like to make the motion to accept resolution FHR 01/2021, Women's History Month, resolution.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we did get a second on that. It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve resolution FHR 01/2021.
I'm sorry, Mayor Martin, who did the second?
Councilmember Uck.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any questions on the motion? If there are no questions, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Martin,
Aye.
Councilmember Hargrove,
Aye.
Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
Councilmember Morgan, Councilmember Morgan, Councilmember Akandu Walker,
I wonder if they lose their connection. Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Morgan, go ahead.
okay. Councilmember Morgan,
Aye.
okay.
and Councilmember Akandu Walker.
Aye.
Thank you very much. The ayes have it. Was there anyone else, Mrs. Tucker?
Oh, Councilmember Dodson.
The complete roll was called?
No,
No, not yet.
Oh, I didn't think so.
Councilmember Dodson,
I said aye.
Okay, and Councilmember Waiters.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Are there any nays? Thank you very much. The ayes have it. That particular resolution has been approved for Women's History Month. We're going to move on down to Juneteenth Day. Mrs. Tucker, would you please read resolution FHR 02-2021 Juneteenth Day into the record?
Resolution FHR 02-2021. Introduction by Councilmember Hargrove, co-sponsor Councilmember Akandu Waka. Date of introduction, January 28th, 2021. Resolution for Juneteenth. The town of Fairmount Heights designating June 19, 2021 as Juneteenth, a day of independence, November the 18th, 2020, and every year in succession year. Whereas millions of Black Africans were captured and taken on to ships, there are millions who did not survive the voyage. And the millions of Africans that survived the voyage were taken to the new world, were forced into slavery for more than 200 years. Whereas more than 2.5 years after President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation on January the 1st, 1863, it was on June 19, 1865, Union soldiers led by Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, with news that the Civil War had ended and the enslaved were free. Whereas in the recognition of June 19, 1865, the date on which news of the end of slavery reached the slaves in the southwestern states. Whereas the day, which began as a Texas holiday in 1980, is now recognized by 47 states and the District of Columbia as a state holiday or observance, and has marked its 155th anniversary this year. Whereas Juneteenth celebrations have been held to honor and encourage a continued appreciation for the rich history of Black American freedom. Whereas descendants of former slaves can be proud of their ancestors' strength, knowledge, and achievements demonstrated by former slaves. Whereas in a few short years after the slaves were freed on February 25th, 1870, Herion Rhodes was seated as the first Black member of the Senate, where Blanche Bruce, also of Mississippi, was seated in 1875 as the second. Whereas freed slaves went on to build some of the most influential Black American communities in the United States. Whereas the bill was proposed by Senators Ed Markey, Democrat, Massachusetts, Booker, Tina Smith, Democrat, Minnesota, Camilla Harris, Democrat, California, Senator John Cornyn, Republican, Texas, as co-sponsors. Whereas Senator Camilla Harris introduced a bill that declares Juneteenth a national holiday. Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Fairmount Heights, Maryland, in Prince George's County does hereby adopt this resolution to honor and recognize the historical significance of June 19, 1865, and for the first time in over 156 years of the mayor and council of Fairmount Heights officially recognize and designates June 19, 2021 as Juneteenth, a day of independence. Passed and adopted by the mayor and council of the town of Fairmount Heights at a meeting held on January 28, 2021.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mrs. Tucker. At this time, I will accept the motion for approval of Resolution FHR 2021.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the resolution for FHR 02-2021 Juneteenth Day.
May I get a second?
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that resolution FHR 02-2021 be approved. Are there any questions on the motion? If there are no questions, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Martin,
Aye.
Councilmember Hargrove,
Aye.
Councilmember Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Dotson,
Aye.
and Councilmember Waiters.
Aye.
Councilmember Upton Walker,
Aye.
and Councilmember Morris.
Aye.
All right. Thank you very much. The ayes have it. Any nays? That resolution passes. We have one other resolution to be passed tonight, and that's resolution FHR 03-2021. That resolution is for the commemoration of Black History Month within the town of Fairmount Heights. So, Ms. Tucker, would you please read that into the record?
Resolution number FHR 03-2021. Introduction by Mayor Lily Thompson Martin. A co-sponsor, Councilmember Morgan. Date of introduction, January 28th, 2021. Resolution, Black History Month. The town of Fairmount Heights designates and honors the month of February as Black History Month from the date of January 20, 2021, and every year thereafter. Whereas President Gerald Ford officially recognized Black History Month in 1974, calling upon the public to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans throughout history. Whereas in the year 2021, Black Americans still face unjust racial barriers and fight for equality no matter their accomplishments. Racial barriers are consistently imposed. The Black community still faces police brutality and racially motivated violence. The growing awareness of Black Americans' identity and their achievements should be taught, recognized, and celebrated. Whereas the Black American community still rises with heroes and heroines like Harriet Tubman, Malcolm X, Booker T. Washington, William Sidney Pittman, Muhammad Ali, President Barack Obama, Colin Kaepernick, and Vice President Kamala Harris. And whereas our military heroes and heroines, like the Tuskegee Airmen, Women's Army Corps, the 6888th Central Postal Directory Battalion, nicknamed the 6 Triple and 8, and Sergeant William Alexander Butler Company L, 93rd Division U.S. Army, and other prominent Black Americans. These men and women are our true heroes and heroines who have shown great bravery and who have carried out remarkable deeds. And whereas the contributions of Black Americans from all walks of life, such as educators, scientists, athletes, organizers, political leaders, military, and other Black Americans who have done remarkable deeds and the role of the Black Americans in history has gone unwritten, unnoticed, or stolen. And whereas we remain hopeful that the remarkable deeds and the growing awareness of Black Americans in history will be acknowledged, and that the role of Black Americans will be accepted and written in our history books. And whereas the town of Fairmount Heights observes and honors February as Black History Month and encourages educators, students, and families to continue to leave the rich history and achievements of Black Americans through programs and activities, not only during the month of February, but throughout the year. Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Fairmount Heights, Maryland, in Prince George's County, does hereby adopt this resolution to honor February as Black History Month and honor the contributions made by Black Americans, passed and adopted by the mayor and council of the town of Fairmount Heights at a meeting held on January 28, 2021.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Tucker. At this time, I will accept the motion for approval of resolution FHR 03-2021 in honor of Black History Month.
R 03-2021, Black History Month.
Second.
May I get a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve resolution FHR 03-2021 in honor of Black History Month. Are there any questions on the motion? If there are no questions, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Martin,
Aye.
Councilmember Hargrove,
Aye.
Councilmember Dodson,
Aye.
Councilmember Akindu Walker,
Aye.
Councilmember Waiters,
Aye.
and Councilmember Morris.
Aye.
Thank you very much. The ayes have it. Any
Mayor.
nays?
She skipped me.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm sorry, Councilmember
Ms.
Morgan.
Councilmember Morgan. All
Aye.
right. All right, thank you. The ayes have it. Any nays? Thank you very much. That resolution FHR 03-2021 for Black History Month passes. Thank you all very much for your time. We have, as we continue down the agenda, we have one other agenda item that we're going to discuss this evening, and that's the 2018 photo session for the mayor and the council. Councilmember Hargrove, would you elaborate on that particular session?
Yes, in the year 2018, it was the first time in the Fairmount Heights history that an all-woman council was elected. And I would like to call the two former council members, Councilmember Downing and Marino, to have us come in and do a photo shoot for the council. And we'll discuss later, I guess, where we're going to place the picture. But I think it's very important that we show that piece of history for the town of Fairmount Heights.
Okay. All right, sounds good. I'll accept the motion just in case we need to do it that way. I'll accept the motion for approval of this photo session for the 2018 all-female council for the town of Fairmount Heights.
I'd like to make the motion that we move forward for the historically all-female photo shoot of the town council.
I get a second on that.
I second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded that we move forward with the photo session for the 2018 all-female council for the town of Fairmount Heights. Are there any questions on the motion? If there are no questions, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Martin,
Aye.
Councilmember Hargrove,
Aye.
Councilmember Dotson,
Aye.
Councilmember Uckendoo Walker,
Aye.
Councilmember Morgan,
Aye.
Councilmember Waiters,
Aye.
and Councilmember Morris.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. The ayes have it. Any nays? If there are no nays, we did decide during work session that Mrs. Walker will begin to reach out to get competitive quotes for 3 photographers, and then we'll move forward. We will move forward. So this last item that was mentioned as an addendum to this agenda was done by Councilmember Waiters. And I was wondering whether at this time, Councilmember Waiters, you wanted to just give a few bits of information on that. And that was the organization for the mayors, the missing pictures that are on the walls. And we
Yeah,
didn't come to a resolution about it in work session, but if you wanted to add something now, or would you want to wait until you get to your report, it's fine with me.
well, since we're here and you mentioned it, I'll go ahead. It's basically, it's not the same as council member that's historical, but it's just, I guess, a lineage of the mayors that's presented in our municipal space from every mayor from the beginning. But towards the end, there are mayors that are missing.
Yes.
And so that I brought that up to fix that. Now I think it's a bit different. My question was, I think the distinction as to whether this is something that's normally done, it does not require a resolution.
Okay.
Because it's always done.
Right. Okay. I just wanted you to have the opportunity to mention it if you wanted to, so that it becomes part of the town record.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
I agree with Councilwoman Waiters, but I do think it should be contained to elected mayors.
Okay, that's the reason why we have to put it up for further discussion, because those not only are the elected, the appointed mayors are listed in the long list of the mayors who would become a matter of record. So we would need an official record, say that comes from Annapolis. If you go back and look at the site, it tells you everyone, whether they're appointed or elected, if they were a mayor within the town of Fairmount Heights, their name is on that list. So it probably would be feasible for us to go by a list like that. So I realize that we need, we need more research into it.
Madam Mayor, and if I might add, if in cases where you may not be able to contact a missing mayor, you can put a placard, just some acknowledgement in that place.
Yes, yes. All right. Well, we'll move down. I just wanted to come back to that issue while we were here.
Okay.
I'm going to move on down to just an update, and I have some items, only have 4 major items. I would like to ask, as we move into this section, with each one of us, I'm talking about the mayor and the council, we just take a few minutes to summarize some of the items that we're working on. We can't tell the whole story, but I think it's good if we take a few items. I picked out 4 items that I want to mention, and if each person would do that, it gives us much more fair leverage. And we have to keep in mind that we have the citizens also that want to have input. And I'm asking them to hold to our 2-minute limit so that we can have a good, productive meeting and we can move forward as scheduled. So the first item I wanted to mention was any people who are in need of food. Now, I'm mainly addressing town residents because we've gotten at least a couple of calls last week concerning some people that needed food. But one of the calls came in after everything was gone, and we don't have a regular program where we are replenishing our food supplies. So it's a situation where it's, JD. So it's a situation whereas, we have to go on a per case basis. But I wanted to mention that any person under the sound of my voice that needs food, on Saturday, there will be food available at New Home Baptist Church, which is on Route 202. And all you have to do is drive up in your car, open it up, and they're going to put the food in for you. Now, they say it's going to be a variety of produce and other items. So if you all could please pass the word, it starts at 10 o'clock a.m. All you have to do is get in the line. Also, I've noticed that First Baptist of Highland Park has been doing food giveaways every week. So, watch your TV, watch Channel 11, watch Facebook, all of the areas that notify you. People are going to have to really stay in tune to it because the food is out there, but you just have to hunt and check around or ask somebody that knows about it. But this coming Saturday between 10 o'clock and possibly until they run out, it will be at New Home Baptist Church
Help
on
me with this shit.
Route 202.
Go ahead.
Route 202. And all you have to do is get in line. Another thing that I wanted to mention, I don't know whether everyone has been keeping up with Officer Eugene Goodman. He was the Capitol Police officer that led the rioters away from the danger that could have happened when they were headed down in the Capitol to do whatever to Representative Pelosi and everybody down there that they could. They were just on a violent streak. And Officer Eugene Goodman led them in the opposite direction so that the members that were down on that end remained safe. Well, yes, so he was the one that ran up the steps and moved them to another direction to keep them safe. So Senator Van Hollen and Senator Ben Cardin are among the senators who introduced the bill. They want to award Officer Goodman the Congressional Gold Medal. And so I sent in a response saying, I am so much in favor of it because if anybody deserves it, he should get it. So we'll be keeping everyone posted. Hopefully he will get that Congressional Gold Medal. As you notice, he was the added security for the vice president on Inauguration Day. So just in that point, that was good recognition for him. The next item I want to talk about is the rabbit raccoon that many people had seen the notice about. It was on WTOP and it was all on Facebook and people were calling here and sending text messages. But that we received notice on the same day that the two dogs had gotten loosed over on Cove Street. So Lieutenant Ivy went over and made sure that those pit bulls got taken down to the animal rescue. And that's when, I don't know at what time that the rabbit raccoon was discovered, but when this information came out, I made sure that, for one thing, our police department, well, Lieutenant Ivy, he went down to talk with those residents that were in danger right down by Cove. The next thing we did, we put the notice on our town website that there was danger with the rabbit raccoon. And the next thing we did, I contacted Councilmember Hargrove so that she could place the notice on Channel 11, our TV station. So we reached out to the community as well as we could, and hopefully everyone is still safe because I haven't heard anything else about it. But that was really imminent danger there, and we were trying to get out as much word as we could. The last thing that I want to talk about is the masks that were delivered by Public Works, and they came in packets. It was 5 packets in each bundle. These masks came from the county and they were sent through connection of Mayor James of Bladensburg. So I hope everyone got your correct amounts. I'm not sure because Public Works did the divisions and they brought the mask out, but it was a good chance for the county to say, well, we have some extra masks and we want to share. So if we get our opportunity to get more, whatever happens, we'll make sure we pass it on to the community. It's an easy way when we can get Public Works to bring it out rather than staying in the building and waiting for people to come and pick things up. So like I said, whatever becomes available, we'll try to pass it on. Okay. That ends it for what my little updates that I wanted to give. And I'm going to move on down. I'm just going to start by council members. Since we're not in the same room here, I'll just go according to those that are on the screen here. I'll look. Council member Waiters, would you like to be first on the council reports?
Yeah, I can do that, Madam Mayor. And I heard you say, you know, to try to limit it to 4 items. I will mention the things that I have from my report in short summations because they will come back in the economic development meeting for the stakeholders meeting and the prep meeting that we'll have shortly hereafter. That I don't have the date. The date is not before me. So what I'll do is I'll just run down a list of things, slightly highlights things that may be important. So I won't reiterate what we talked about in October because I can give that in a written report to the council. But I will talk about highlighted from the old business UCAP, United Communities Against Poverty, and the architecture of the 7-Eleven property on Eastern Avenue. The proposed use we talked about Fairmount Heights Elementary School. I'm going to take that off and not go in depth because it's on the list, but we have not followed up and said anything about that or followed up to do anything with that. We did the resolution for litter-free Fairmount Heights, and we're following up on how that's going to go. County redistricting, I spoke of that the last time we were in work session and the importance of redistricting and zoning. The Prince George's County Democratic Central Committee, unfortunately, with the recent passing of Senator Miller, Delegate Jackson was appointed to that position. In turn, Delegate Jackson's position has become vacant. That's important because it impacts zoning and decisions. There's one portion of that district, I believe it's 27B, that is Prince George's County. It shares 3 different counties, but one is Prince George's County. And so that has an impact on us and who and or what committees that person would be responsible for. That said, also in terms of the county, Prince George's County Democratic Central Committee recommended 5 individuals for a county redistricting commission, which will take place. That's a county council redistricting that impacts your schools. I bring that before the mayor and council to be mindful of, because with this construction on Addison Road, and the capacity for the housing or the living there, that will impact our public education, which is Robert R. Gary, our elementary school right across the street, which may, you know, the student enrollments, it has a lot of impact on that. I mentioned the stakeholders meeting. I'll go back to UCAP. United Communities Against Poverty met yesterday, and we're in depth with the architectural renderings of that property. So in highlights, I'll mention that it was mentioned that it would be for seniors, but it would be independent living and not caretaking. They're supposed to have shops. They put in the ventilated COVID clean air, safe energy. It's net zero, will be net zero. They have health, different things in there for the seniors to support them. Their support, again, it sits on 4 lots. They had an existing amount of funding and received an additional CDBG of $200,000. The zoning changes, some zoning changes, I'm looking at those up. I cannot report those right now, but there were some zoning changes that took place recently that favored them in terms of density requirements. Jargon I have to read about so that we understand, but the most important thing that I let them know per this meeting that they would be meeting with us next and presenting before us. With that, I want to make recommendation that the mayor and council visit the location United Communities Against Poverty, because it has been refurbished and there's a lot of features that have been done. One I did mention with the revitalization for COVID, and a lot of the housing projects that they have or programs that they have that can benefit the citizens in the town of Fairmount Heights. Mr. Rumi, you mentioned Mr. Rumi being in a meeting. Prince George's County is holding a meeting for virtual community art that impacts the arts of on economic development. We'll report on that later. I don't have that because she's in that meeting and I decided to show them you guys. African American History Month, we mentioned that. I'll come back to that. I just want to make sure I get, and then we're talking about the zoning requirements for some of our lots in the town of Fairmount Heights are small and not buildable in terms of housing and square footage. And so we're looking at how some of those lots can be considered for tiny housing and the benefit to the community. And that's pretty much it. And I will go over to the, 1 second, Black History Month celebration and briefly, it's been mentioned a couple of times. So I will, let me see if I can bring that to give you some, for the month of, features of the activity, I'm sorry, for the month of February from the 5th until the 28th. For the entire month, we're observing Black History Month. These particular dates have been set aside for observation or activities. The 5th, which is on a Friday, the 12th, which is on a Friday, the 19th, which is on a Friday, and then a final Sunday, the 28th. We are defining those activities for the 5th with the message from the mayor. We're redefining some of the activities. We had to change some things around. We intended to do a presentation, but our guests won't be available until the 3rd week. And so we moved some things around. And we're suggesting a scavenger hunt, but we don't have the details just yet. So the flyer will go out to the community with these highlighted dates on it with the time and the activities, and then we'll reiterate and send something out per week with in-depth what's going to take place that week. The most important week is a community gathering where we will honor Miss Graves for her upcoming birthday, which I believe will be 100. We're confirming that information, and we're looking for our oldest African-American gentleman. And that pretty much concludes what I have at a high level.
All right. Thank you very much. Councilmember Hargrove?
Yes, excuse me. My report is giving updates on the Veterans Memorial and the bond initiative bill. We did extend our letter for LaShawn Quanda Mosley and her team to be lobbyists for us up at Capitol in Maryland, in Annapolis. But after talking to Delegate Barnes, I'm sorry.
Barron.
After talking to Delegate Barnes
Delegate
about
Barron.
the bond initiative and everything that was going on right now, which really nothing has changed from last year to this time, that it would be better if we start the bond initiative for the Veterans for the World War II Memorial their next session. And I agree because there has been no change. I'd rather put in the bond initiative for the memorial on a year that we have a great possibility that we would win the bond. I am moving forward with, we have received one grant from the African American Preservation Program. We are applying to that again. Miss Susan has put out for bid the restoration of the Veterans Memorial. We're waiting for that to come back. We're also are applying for all the permits and everything that we need so that once she or we as a council choose the person who's going to be doing the work, we can just go ahead and break ground. We did pass the 3 resolutions. Coming up again, excuse me, we will be talking about the aquaponics, bringing that back up and starting our committee meetings again once everything calms down a little bit with the COVID. Continuing to update the TV station Channel 11. The resolution for the logo is available. If anyone wants to read that, you're more than welcome to do that. Rebranding, and we have a newsletter that will be coming out again. And I'm asking at this time, Ms. Capers, I don't know whether she's on the line, but for her CDC
There is a space for her. There is also a space for the Civic Association, and anyone else who wants to put an article in the newspaper can contact Ms. Tucker, and she'll get in contact with me. On yesterday, we were able to, and we were blessed to be able to get meals. Councilmember Jolene Ivy office called and said, hey, we have some meals if you'd like to come by. And of course I did. We were able to give out 128 meals. Some of the meals were frozen with different, with a variety of food. And then there was 10 boxes with chicken, canned goods, vegetables, spaghetti sauce, enough to make a meal for probably 2 days. And I'd like to thank her again for always having us on her mind when opportunities come that we can get food for the community. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you very much, Council Member. Council Member Akindu Waka.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Actually, I've spent most of the month meeting with the staff and preparing for the rebuild of the police department. We've started with staffing. Lieutenant Ivy has obtained applications for our review. Funding, Mrs. Walker has worked the budget. Equipment, we have determined what would be needed per the advice of Lieutenant Ivy. The logistics is with the scheduling. And all these things will be presented to the mayor and council at our February personnel meeting for approval. The mayor has advised me that there are some concerns over not having public safety meetings. Unfortunately, I have not held any meetings due to working with the police department. But in going forward, I must ask that all who do intend to work on this committee be in compliance with Maryland, state, county, and the town of Fairmount Heights laws and ordinances, as well as be a registered voter in the town of Fairmount Heights in order to work on policies for this town. I would like for us to all serve as examples by being in compliance. That would conclude my report.
Okay, thank you. Council Member Morgan.
Good afternoon, citizens. I just have one item, just to remind them, 2 items, just to remind the mayor and council of our staff meeting February the 4th at 6:30 p.m. And during our staff meeting, we will revisit the list of our bulk items, because I believe it's on the list a few items need to be changed and added. Thank you.
Council Member Morris.
Good evening. I don't have too much for tonight. I am working on a newsletter in preparation on getting everything laid out and set to go to a smaller newsletter than what we did last month, I should say. I'll be working with Councilwoman Hargrove to put out a flyer so that everybody that wants to be included and have an article will have time to do so in the proper way to submit it to us. Other than that, I'm working on a couple Black History giveaways that I plan on introducing to the mayor and council for the town, as well as some masks that I have come into possession of that I am willing to distribute to the town for anybody that needs them. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. Councilmember Wood Dodson.
Yes, I've been researching and submitting to see where it can improve our community as far as being a food desert, to see where we could be or reinstate some form of a food bank, as well as working with the green team trying to see how the points can be, we can develop more points in what was introduced in our meeting that we just had earlier this evening. With trying to improve with the community becoming litter-free, street cleaning, different things were brought up that I'm sure as we incorporate more in meetings, the month of March will be a cleaning meeting, and to see how we can reiterate collaborating with the ANC again. So trying to be consistent with getting an understanding that the census was done and successful. From what Susan said as well, we'll be getting more money from that, but that closed out very well with the assistance of Miss Spann, you know, really overseeing and keeping documents to turn in. We had a successful census for 2020, and that's my report.
Thank you very much. All right, I didn't miss
Madam
anyone,
Mayor.
did I? Uh-huh.
One more thing, I forgot to mention. I do have a few veterans on my list, but I'm asking that anyone in the town who was a veteran, had a parent, a brother, or anyone pass, if you could please leave their name with Miss Tucker, I would appreciate that. And again, once we are able to, once we get past our permits and everything, we'll be holding more meetings for the Veterans Memorial. So please, again, if there is a veteran that you know of that lived in the town of Fairmount Heights and he passed, I'm asking that you get their names to me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much for your
Madam
report.
Mayor, Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I just another reminder, what is it, the 54th, hold on. Senator Benson, as a follow-up to the document that she wanted us to review. This is just a reminder.
Mhm.
I understand that everyone received it and we were supposed to review it and then go back, schedule a follow-up meeting with her. And
Yes.
that's why I wanted to remind the council to review that document so that I can follow up. I think she gave us a 2-week time frame, but just an FYI reminder.
Yes, thank you. And to add to that, we have been trying to reach out to her ever since she was at work session. So her office didn't give us any particular time. It's just that we've already started that process. I'll have to have Ms. Tucker to tell you exactly what the office said, but they didn't give us a definite time, but still everyone needs to start reviewing that Senate Bill 254. And then from there, they should be able to give us some kind of time sometime soon. And we'll, probably have to do a Zoom meeting with
Right.
her.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're waiting on that. We're waiting on it. Thank you. All right. If that covers all of the council, I'm going to move into citizens participation. And at this time, just like I said earlier in the meeting, please, everyone, be considerate when you come for your opportunity to talk. Just please be considerate of everyone else and of our time, and we can have a good, successful meeting for the rest of our meeting. All right. Thank you all very much. At this time, we'll begin citizen participation. If there's anyone online who would like to participate from the community, something for the good of the organization, now is your opportunity. Is there anyone online from the community? I think I saw Mr. Barnhart's name pop up. I don't know about anyone else.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir, Mr. Barnhart, how you doing?
Good evening, man. How you doing?
I'm okay.
All right. I'm gonna be real short with it. I know you said we only got 2 minutes. I don't want to be disobedient. So my first question will go to Councilwoman Uckadu Walker.
Mhm.
My question would be is, what would be the projective date or timeline for these reserve officers? The Civic Association has been getting numerous of calls, and we've been getting a lot of feedback from the citizens as we've been walking the neighborhood about our police department. I did hear Lieutenant Ivy did say that, this is something that's in process, and we understand that, things aren't done overnight. But we've been entertaining the reserve officers since early December. And we're going into the month of February now. Like I said, I know things are not done overnight. I know that things is a process. But these are just concerns that's been coming from the citizens about our reserve officers. My other was not a question, but to Councilwoman Up, she did just state that she wants folks to be part of the safety committee that's in compliance with the Maryland and the county laws, and also with Fairmount Heights Code of Ordinances and in the town's laws. I would like to be part of the safety committee. I feel like that the Civic Association should be involved with anything. If the mayor and council and with other committee that's going on, we should all be able to work together. And that's how we should be able to do things as a community. So I would love to be part of the safety committee with Councilwoman Up, just so we could work hand in hand about our community.
First and foremost, I welcome you, Mr. Barnhart, with your participation, because I know you as a citizen are in full compliance, and that's what we need. And second of all, as I stated, I will be presenting on, I believe Councilwoman Morgan said it would be February the 4th, which is our personnel meeting, because there are definitely personnel issues that we need to get ironed out. And once we have this approved, we will be moving forward within that month of February.
Okay. Okay.
Does that answer your question, or?
I mean, it's information. And I'm not the one to bad mouth us in any kind of way, because anytime that we get into that kind of back and forth kind of talk, that doesn't help the community out. But I'm just bringing this as a serious concern that we've been getting from the citizens about making sure that our streets are being protected. That's all. And I just like for the mayor and council to really take that into account. I know you guys are working hard, and I appreciate you guys, having these meetings and working these things out. But we really want some results. We really want some action. It's 2021. We have a new president, and he's making, executive orders, and he's making things happen. We need to start making things happen. That's all I'm asking.
And I 100% agree with you, sir. And that is my full intent.
Okay. All right. After the meeting, if we can, change information for us emails, because I know from past history that email addresses are being changed. Email addresses are incorrect. I want to make sure that I'm getting the proper, information about these meetings for the safety committee, so we can go ahead and move forward with that as well.
And I assure you that I will reach out to you ASAP. I do have your contact information.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Barnhart. Appreciate it. Are there any other citizens that would like to make comments or something for the good of the organization at this time?
Good afternoon, Mayor. How are you? Mayor and
Fine.
Council, how's everybody?
Fine, fine. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. This is former Councilwoman Downing. I just wanted to share something with the Mayor and Council. When Kevin and I paid our rental property fees, I spoke with a neighbor, and they informed me that they don't pay the town of Fairmount Heights. They go straight to the county. And I was kind of disappointed to hear that a lot of people are doing that. They told me that they tried contacting the town, but of course there's no, because you guys are part-time and nobody can get through. That money is leaving the town of Fairmount Heights, and I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of that.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm happy you passed that along to us, former council member, because we need to know that, and I'm going to make sure that gets directed to Mr. Pinckney. And I'm not saying whether it's identification problems, the reason why those people have not been paying the town, but we need the funding, and if it belongs to the town, it should be coming to us. So
yeah, that's why I was really shocked to find out that the county actually is accepting those
they're not,
rental fees.
yeah,
right?
they're not supposed to accept anything that's coming from the town like that. So I don't know why, but I will definitely bring that up, bring that to his attention. I
All
will
right,
definitely
thanks
bring it to his
everybody, and
attention.
happy New Year to everyone on the line.
Yes, and Happy New Year to you. Uh-huh. All right. So I want to reiterate, thanks to everyone for joining us this evening, and I hope you've been informed. I hope that the things that we've done today have been pleasing as far as moving our town forward. And we'll be coming back with information on that Bill 254 and those dates from Mr. Rumi's report concerning having the stakeholders meeting. Those dates will be coming out also. So just be on the lookout for those and be able to participate and join in, and we all things being done to make the town better. All right, so again, I want to say thanks to everyone. If there is nothing else that we have to discuss for tonight, I will accept the motion for adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn.
May I get a second on that?
Second.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. You all have a wonderful night, and we will talk again soon.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.